What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another World of Warcraft video for the War Within, and today we're talking about the ultimate War Within Goldmaking Guide. This is going to be a long video talking about my War Within Goldmaking Guide, which you can check out through a link down below, and at this point the support on this guide has been absolutely insane. I cannot thank you enough, and it really shows that the hype for the War Within is absolutely, well, once again, insane, and I believe this could be one of the best expansions we have had in quite a while, and it's definitely looking that way based on the build-up, based on the hype that we have, and based on my own beta testing. I am incredibly excited for the expansion, and I think it's starting off on a really good note, and they take a lot of the lessons they've learned throughout Dragonflight, and they apply them from the start of the War Within, which is great, and hopefully they just keep that, keep moving in that positive direction for the game itself. Now, once again, this video will be based on this goldmaking guide that you can see on the screen right here, and the aim of this video is to dive a little bit deeper into the guide and talk about a couple of topics. So for example, we're going to be talking about what the guide is, why I've made the guide, who it's meant for, and just diving into, for example, why it's important to have things in early access, exclusivity, and why that's important, why it could benefit you, and yeah, just talk more about the guide once again. So let's start this off with what is this guide? Well, this guide is something that I've made for the War Within. I started this when I started playing the beta, and I've just been putting down notes as I've been testing, and ultimately, we have combined all those notes into a document that is now a gold-making guide for the War Within, almost 100 pages, or about 90 pages right now, covering professions in depth, and also has gold farms in that guide itself. The aim is to keep updating this guide when the expansion goes live, because that is kind of when we find out if our theory crafting is correct, and what works and what doesn't, and specifically for gold farms, we can test a lot more, because for group farms, that is a little bit difficult to test on the beta, and not all the drops are finalized either, so we don't exactly know how much gold you will get based on testing on the beta. All we know is if the farms work, which we have found quite a lot of farms that do work, but we have to test them in a live environment to see how much gold per hour they actually give. And when we can do that, I will definitely put those into the guide as well and give you guys even more farms to do. But once again, it's just a compilation of notes that I've made on the beta based on testing professions, and we have how to spend your knowledge points. We're talking about how to make a gold with jewel crafting, inscription, every single profession, right? Talking about exactly how to make gold with that profession. Now, the guide itself is meant to be an introduction to gold making, and also on like both a intermediate plus beginner level. So if you are a beginner into gold making, this guide should take you through what you need to know for professions and gold farming, so gold making and the gold farming. And then if you're in an intermediate, those knowledge points and showing you how to spend them should tell you exactly that. And then we have advanced, we have a Discord community attached to the guide where we will have more advanced discussions based on what the guide has, where we can go deeper into why we're doing certain things, how we're doing certain things, step by step on certain things, and we have exclusive videos covering that as well, which takes you step by step into exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it as well. So the guide is kind of meant for beginner / intermediate, and then we have videos plus a Discord server for the more advanced stuff. Now let's talk about why, and this basically started back in Shadowlands when I didn't have my own gold making guide, but I've made a document, or I made a spreadsheet back then of how I made gold throughout the expansion, and that spreadsheet turned out to be very long, and then we made that spreadsheet into a Google document, which then covered about 10 different spreadsheets into one document, and also a lot of text in the same document, which was just for me, for personal use and how I made gold. And I eventually turned that into a gold making guide back then, which, well, here we go. We turned it into a guide and didn't sell it back then, just made it public, but then we made a gold making guide with a price tag on it. And at this point, you might say that it could have been free. It definitely could have been free, but first of all, it takes me a lot of time to make, and keeping it updated as well also takes time, takes me playing the game, takes me, well, I have to find the ways to make gold, share them with you, and it's a lot of work. But then again, I play the game, I love the game, it's my hobby, and I wouldn't mind doing that for free, but there is a lot of value in having some sort of exclusivity when it comes to these things. Think about gold farms. There's one thing I see every single expansion whenever I play, and I make content on gold farm as well, and every single gold farming video that I make, there is at least one comment, usually multiple, that the second a gold farming video goes public, they say thank you for ruining the farm. And there is some truth to this. The second a farm or a gold making method goes public, it will be less profitable. The same thing goes for real life as well, kind of to a certain degree. The less people know about something that works, the better it works. The more people know about this, the less it works. So having some sort of exclusivity just benefits everyone. It gives me a little bit more financial stability to spend more time playing the game more, and right now playing the beta more as well, right? And when the expansion comes out, we can take unpaid leave and play the expansion more, find more gold making stuff, and it gives the people that support me that way even more benefit back. Because then, for example, when we find a gold farm that once again, when we make public on YouTube, we get comments saying thank you for ruining the farm, and we suddenly see the gold per hour go from 100k to 50k overnight. Like, the value of the farm goes down drastically, and the aim here is that I have early access. Like, when you buy the guide, you get early access to my gold making videos and my gold farming videos as well, which means you can take advantage of those farms before the videos go public. In that case, you will be there before they are ruined, or quote-unquote ruined, like YouTube comments, right? Ruining the farm. So I really do believe that specifically for gold making in World of Warcraft, having early access to things and a little bit of exclusivity is absolutely beneficial to every single person involved, and that's kind of what we're doing here. We are adding a level of early access and exclusivity to information, and being able to share the information between ourselves in a locked environment, where, for example, let's just say we have 100 people in a Discord server. Those 100 people can help each other become absolute millionaires, goblin billionaires even, and it won't affect the grand scheme of things, because if we are 100 people making absolute bank and helping each other, well, there's millions of people playing World of Warcraft. So in that case, sharing information is just beneficial, because I can learn from your stuff and you can learn from my stuff. So we're just helping each other make as much gold as possible, and even though I know a lot, there's a lot of things that I don't know either. I learn new things pretty much constantly when it comes to gold making, especially playing the beta. I've even picked up brand new things that I had no idea about this week. And I've been playing the beta a lot, and just suddenly this week I picked up on 2 new things that we now have exclusive videos about. So for example, we have a couple of thumbnails here that I want to show you guys, because we do have a couple of exclusive videos right now. We have this one teaching you how to take your gold making to the absolute next level, and even though it's not necessary by any means, but following the steps in that video, you can be weeks ahead of people. Like, you can be weeks ahead of other people when it comes to professions, and that will make you more profit. Like, if they are stuck in week 1, but you're in week 4, on week 1 technically, by doing a little bit more goblin stuff, well, you are making way more profit than they are. And we also have this video right here, which I believe the thumbnail kind of speaks for itself. This gold making strategy is a little bit broken, and this one is based on the beta, could be nerfed before launch, but if it isn't, it's absolutely broken. Which, once again, when you buy the guide, you have access to those 2 videos that are exclusive to the guide. Now, taking this back to the guide itself, another reason why I want to have a guide like this is to have everything for gold making in one place. And I guess 2 places, because we have the guide and the Discord server. So on the Discord server, I can link you guys to resources, and when we find spreadsheets, when we make spreadsheets, find articles, whenever we have valuable resources, we can share them all in one place where they're very easy to find, and that way you don't have to look things up. Like, if you're a brand new PA person to gold making, instead of scouring the internet for hours upon hours to find what you need, you have everything in one place, or once again technically 2 places, the guide plus the Discord server. So yeah, everything is easily accessible, and the same thing goes for the fact that we are covering professions in the gold making guide, right? Where if right now you wanted to check out professions on YouTube, Pretty much every single creator has a 30-minute video on every single profession. Now, there are 11 professions, so that will be 5.5 hours of your time spent watching videos on those professions. Meanwhile, my guide covers professions as well and pretty much takes you through what you want to know and takes you between 5 and 15 minutes to read, depending on how thoroughly you read it. So in that case, you're saving yourself 5 hours of time and getting the information you want without any like extra fluff. Without any fluff. Just takes you to the point and that's it. Now, there are two final points about the guide when it comes to why I've made the guide and things like that. And there's one thing you probably heard before. I've mentioned it in my, I think this was Classic WoW Goldmaking Guide for the Wrath Classic Goldmaking Guide, because I made one for Wrath of the Lich King Classic as well. And that is the difference between teaching a man to fish and selling a man a fish. And in this case, I'm just going to bring this to the WoW token. If you are looking to make about 1 WoW token's worth of gold, I'm just going to say it, you are better off buying a WoW token, because the WoW token will probably be cheaper than my guide anyway and literally get you the gold like this. On the other hand, if you want to make 1 million gold, 2 million gold, 10 million gold, 50 million gold, then you're much better off spending your real life money on a product that will teach you the basics of making gold, the advanced stuff of making gold, and that's what I aim to do. Teach you the basics, the intermediate level stuff, and the advanced level stuff as well, where you can even buy a WoW token to get things started, but when the War Within comes out, you can farm a bunch of gold anyway. You don't need gold to get started with this, it's all about the information, and then when the War Within comes out, you can get started. Even if you have 0 gold, you can probably end the expansion with tens of millions by playing your cards right. So once again, the story of teaching a man how to fish versus selling him a fish. If you want 1 fish, buy the fish. But if you want to have 1,000 fishes, don't buy 1,000 fishes. Buy a fishing pole, and buy a book on how to fish, or just learn how to fish, and then fish the 1,000 fish yourself, unless you're like a billionaire in real life and can just buy 1,000 fish. But the same thing goes for the game itself. If you want to have the gold equivalent of 1 WoW token, don't buy my guide. Buy the WoW token, it's much easier. But if you want to have the equivalent of 10 WoW tokens, then perhaps you want to buy the guide instead and learn how to make that gold by yourself. Now finally, the guide is a way for me to make a product that gives back to the community while allowing you guys to support me at the same time. And talking from a financial standpoint here, I'm a World of Warcraft content creator. That is a genre, or like a sub-genre, or I don't know what to call it, but it's a sub-genre of the gaming genre. So we are a niche. It's a niche within the gaming genre on YouTube. World of Warcraft is not that big. And then, in addition to that, we narrow this down even deeper, because instead of focusing on World of Warcraft in general, about 95% of my content, if not even more, is focused on gold making in World of Warcraft, and that's what I enjoy. I want to spend every single day talking about gold making with you guys, sharing profession thoughts, my thoughts on gold making, how to craft and make gold, and gold farms as well. I just want to talk about gold making. I love making gold in this game, and this way, having this guide, having your support, allows me to focus my content on what I want without thinking that much about, oh, I have to clickbait this, I have to clickbait that. Like, I could make a top 10 DPS classes in WoW and probably get 10 times the views that I get on a gold making video, but by doing this and having your support on the guide, it allows me to just spend more time focusing on the content that I want to make, not the content that I have to make to chase views. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have for you today. It's been a about 14-minute video by now, where I just wanted to talk more about the guide once again, and not just do a long sellout. That was not the point of this video. The point was to talk about the guide, have a dedicated video to the guide, because once again, the support has been absolutely insane, and it definitely deserves a video talking more in depth about this, and I wanted to share my thoughts and my mentality around the guide, who it's meant for, why it's made, and just talk a little bit more about that subject. We are only a few days away right now from the launch of the War Within, and once again, if you want my help making gold in the War Within, check out the Goldmaking Guide. Once again, it's a long Goldmaking Guide for the War Within, talking about professions, talking about gold farms. You will have early access to videos, exclusive videos, and access to a goldmaking Discord server. The link to that will be down below. If you buy the guide, thank you so much. Once again, it allows me to spend more time to focus on the content that I want to make. And as always, thank you for watching. I will see you again in the next video very soon.